Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We got Dave on the road here, and he is out in Missouri this week. And Dave,
Yes.
tell him what you're doing.
So I'm out here for the Diode Dynamics show and open house, the big car show they do every year. Really excited. It's going to be our first year attending and made the drive out here all the way from Colorado. It's a short drive for some of 12 hours because I know there are certainly a lot of other people that are certainly going to tick that box of beating me on how far they came. So hats off to those guys who all are coming and may or may not already be out here or still getting here late tonight or tomorrow for the event on Saturday. But the event Saturday, very excited about that. We did have a little bit of a mishap though. Not fortunately, it wasn't too bad. About exactly an hour away from Missouri. Couldn't help but notice because we had to slow down for some traffic, and otherwise the car has been handling fantastically up to this point. Um, and noticed when get on the gas, there's a very notable shake, kind of almost actually laterally from the whole car. It seemed to go this way, like the whole car was shaking side to side, and I could see my phone on the mount even kind of doing this. I'm like, that's weird. That's not good. So I pulled over just to kind of give the thing a shakedown and kind of visually look over everything. And didn't even just jack it up, but I just kind of just shook the suspension and looked underneath it, which benefit of a lifted Subaru is a lot easier to look underneath it. At which point I identified what I believed to be the issue, which was a axle boot that was slinging grease all over the place, which is generally an early indication that there's something going on inside that axle. The boot itself had more so just popped off, but even still, just the boot popping off doesn't provocate the the issue that it was. So I was pretty confident just needed an axle. So get it into town, kept it easy on there, and then shout out to the guys at Diode. Reached out to Chris over there, who's our rep, and he made a wonderful recommendation to the go-to, I will say this, local Subaru shop here in St. Louis, Missouri. It's Ecotech. They are fantastic. They got me in on short notice. I want to say I dropped the car off about gosh, 2:30, and I got a call about 5 o'clock, 5:30, that the car was ready for pickup. So huge shout out to those guys at Ecotech for getting it in, knocking it out, short notice, helping out a fellow Subaru enthusiast and traveler. Excitedly, they'll also be at the event this weekend. So excited to reconnect with them. I'm gonna have to figure out something tomorrow. To give them as a token of a little gift for the guys at the shop. So I'll come up with something, a gift card to get the shop some pizzas for lunch or something. Because definitely appreciate those guys.
Yeah, I mean it's awesome that you were able to make it out there, and it's great that you're gonna have that experience, and it's great that you made it. Your car could have. You know what I say? My favorite saying is that if this is gonna be your bad day, that's fine. you know, I'll take it. As long as it's fixable and everything's fine at the end of the day, you can
Yeah.
keep moving. So, but
Oh, and I told
yeah,
my buddy it wouldn't be an adventure without a story to tell. If
yeah,
nothing happens and everything's just kind of mundane, it's not really a trip then, it's not really an adventure, so to speak. And so I think that's par for the course, that we had a little bit of excitement on the way out here. We'll see if there's any more, of course, coming with the upcoming off-road activities at the event. So we have some plans to go test out the Subaru at their off-road course. So
yeah.
stay tuned and look on social media for some pretty fun content coming.
Yeah. If you guys don't know who Diode Dynamics is, they've been around for a long time. I remember 10 years ago when I was, 19, 20 years old, I used to go on there and buy all of their fun parts. They had a lot of like LED kits and, just a lot of the stuff that you buy when, when you're 19 years old and you're
Yeah.
like, yeah. But, they also have a lot of good quality stuff on there, and that's why they're able to hold events like this. They're really well known.
And
So
they're really huge into the Subaru community itself, which I think is fantastic because they make a number of Subaru specific applicational parts. One of which that still blows my mind to this day. I have to give them their engineer team rather a shout out on this one. Is they make a relay for Subarus that's plug and play, no wiring. You just unplug the old relay and plug this in, and it gives your car some really cool functionality. One of which is one touch turn. So if I just touch my turn signal one time, I don't have to like turn it on, just touch it. It automatically blinks 4 times, and I can program that. So the way I program it, forgive
wow.
me if I'm going to butcher this, but it's something along the lines of you turn the turn signal on with the key on, then you leave the turn signal on, turn the key off, turn the turn signal off and back on, turn the key back on or something like that. And and then the car's in programming mode, or rather the relays in programming mode, and then you
Yeah.
use the stalk left and right to increase the counts. If you want to go up, go right 1 click, 2 click, 3 click, and it'll go up and make it go instead of 4 counts, 7 counts. Or you can go down, and you can program this all without any wires, any computers. It's all like these really clever kind of like backdoor, almost like secret handshake, secret codes, like finishing moves in Mortal Kombat. You had to remember up, down, AYB. Yeah. So it's kind of like that, which is really cool. It also gives your four ways, again, multiple programmability. So you can have flashing programmable four ways, that strobe and everything like that. So there's a lot of really cool functionality that they have built into this relay, and it's a whopping $60, which blows my mind. Which is expensive
Worth
for
it.
a relay, but again, cheap when you realize how much engineering went into that and how much
Yeah.
functionality. I think there's like 22 different functions or whatever of this thing. It's like, how did you guys do this in a relay? Who thought of this? And again, it's plug and play for a Subaru, and it's only Subaru applications. So I think that's a huge uh, acclimate for a company that really, really cares about our community specifically, as well as one last shout out is recently with everything that's going on with tariffs and prices and everything like that. We've all seen it with every manufacturer, and nobody's immune to it. And effectively, prices have had to go up, things like that. One thing that Diode, I think I give them a lot of credit where credit's due, is they've doubled down on is effective as of recently. Here is every one of their products is lifetime warranty, all their lights.
Wow.
So that speaks to their
That's great.
quality, and it's kind of that, I guess, snap-on somewhat mentality that, yeah, you buy this bulb, sure, it's expensive, but you know what? It's the last bulb you're ever going to need.
It's kind of like lifetime fluid.
Yeah, but lifetime fluid is a lie.
Well,
I'll stand on that. I'll die on that hill.
that is also something I believe in. It is a
Yeah.
lie for sure. Um, yeah, I mean, it's such a great thing that companies like this are still around too. Um, it's just like it's not easy. I mean, as a shop owner yourself, I'm sure like it's just a very tough battle every day when you're first getting into business, and then you know you start to benefit and have like these great moments, like they can hold these events like way down the road. And it's like
Hmm.
it takes so long to get there, so the fact that they offer lifetime warranties just goes to show that like they've been pushing for a long time, and they've made a good product, and now they're here. So
And they've built a community, and I say they're local here in the United States. I think that's worth supporting as well. There's a lot of other companies out there, won't name any names, but they're Chinese companies through and
yeah.
through. They don't support, US work. Here, every one of the Diode's products is assembled here in the United States. So you know that you're getting a quality control that is quite frankly unmatched, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And sure, there's always a 0.001% or whatever. Uh, we're all human, but they're a company that we endorse because they stand behind the products, and they stand behind the community that they support. And they wouldn't have, as of last year, reported 2,000 people show up to this event if people weren't passionate about the products that they supply, because the products that they offer are directly correlated to us as the consumers and what we want and need. And I think that that's just as a funny enough, the drive out here, I was thinking, because I know tomorrow there's going to be a bunch of kind of dealer training and things like that and demos that they're going to be doing. And I'm sure there's going to be kind of a Q&A section where they're going to ask, hey, anyone got any good ideas for future products or any problems with products? And ironically, I currently have their flush mount lights in my rear bumper, which I love. And they operate on two ways, one of which the lights are on, they are just red. So they act kind of, it's
Mm,
an extra tail light. And
okay,
then when I hit the reverse lights, they go really bright white, like stupid bright. That's what they're meant for.
that's
Well,
cool.
they just doubled down, because I was thinking on the drive down, I was like, what would be a future product I wish they would make? What if they made a three-way one? So instead of just tail light and reverse light, what if it also had brake light functionality? And that red light all of a
Yeah.
sudden got brighter, or triple hyper flashed when you stepped on the brake.
Oh
Guess
yeah.
what I just saw an email of today?
What?
They just launched that exact light
No.
for Subarus.
Oh
Specific
my gosh.
application. The ad was for Subarus, for the specifically for the rear. You know how people put the rear third brake light in the bumper
Yeah, I
on the
have on
WRXs?
mine. I have it on the
Yes.
bottom, the little square one. Yeah.
So they offer one now. That's
Really?
theirs. Yes, and it's plug and play, and it ties into the brake lights. It's it does triple flash, and also has red, just tail light, and then also has a built-in reverse light functionality that is unmatched. It's you know I don't know, I'm gonna misquote it, but like 10,000 lumens or something. It's ridiculous. So I
That's
think it's
cool.
kind of ironic that I was thinking of that on the drive out here, and I get an email. It's like, well, I guess they're reading my mind, or rather, our minds as enthusiasts. And I think that's really what uh, really was the reason we wanted to support them and become a proud dealer, is because we really support companies like that who support uh, local USA employees and make a quality product and stand behind it.
True. And speaking of great companies making quality products, um, for anybody who didn't see it this week, there's been a massive announcement that Company 23 and Kartboy have teamed up. They are now one company, and Kartboy is moving to Wisconsin. That's where Company 23 is, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So they're moving in, and now I'm very, very excited to see what comes from this, because we've already seen, like, especially in our podcast that we did, the episode with Mark from Company 23. Um, they just make such a good product, and they put so much effort and so much time into what they do. They take every ounce of time that they have to perfect what they got, and then they put it out. And so it's amazing when you have another company that has the same mindset. Cartboy short shifters I have known about for 10 years. I mean, I've had them before. I think they're great.
I have one in one of my Subarus. It's fantastic.
Yeah. And it just goes to speak again on a company that has been doing something right for a long time. And I think that Company 23 saw the potential in this, and Cartboy saw the potential in the merger and getting all these great minds in one room, making really great products. And I think that this is a home run for anybody who owns a Subaru. This is like huge, because this community relies on these companies that have been around for a long time. If you're going to buy a short shifter, do you want to buy a short shifter from a company that has been around for 1 year, or do you want to buy it from a company that's been around for 10 years? I think that,
And that other company might be knocking off a design too. That's another thing that I see a lot happen with some of these companies, not to name names, but they're just ripping off other people's designs and then selling it for cheaper because they can make it for cheaper, because yeah, then anyone can race to the bottom to make something for cheaper.
yeah, I mean, that's what's insane. I mean, Kartboy has actually been around since 1999. So I mean, we're talking 26 years. Like, that's a long time for a company to be around that is specifically honing in on the Subaru community and putting them first. So, I just think that anybody who is looking for tools, short shifters, Cartboy does anything from brake lines to crank pulleys. They do a lot of, I believe, like end links and sway bar bushings and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
mean, they're a precision company. They make things precisely perfect and they make a very, certain product. And that's what I love is that it's like you go to some of these websites, right? They offer everything, everything you ever need. Look at Car ID. Car ID says it
Hmm.
can get you anything for any car, taillights from, engines, like just, whatever. There's these companies that just offer so much. And it's like, that like either some of it is drop shipping or some of it is like products that they don't even have. They're just going to try to order them in or, like it's like these are people that are constantly working on their product every day. They know what they got. They're trying to really make it perfect for the community. They don't want anybody coming back with complaints or anything like that. And it's
And they're
like,
real enthusiasts too.
yeah, and that's the other side of it. I mean, you and I both know from conversations with Company 23, like those guys are diehard and enthusiasts. Mark's
Hmm.
gonna be at Boxerfest, which we'll talk about in a minute, but um, this is like a pretty big deal. And I'm like really excited. I think, you know, Mark and I were texting and I was like, Mark, this is like insane. Just such a great thing. And the best part about it is that both companies seem really happy about it. They seem excited. There's a lot of promise with this. There's probably way more designs that are going to come out of this. Like it's just really a win all around. So
You just said it. I can't wait to see what they're going to come out with.
yeah. Congrats to Cartboy and Company 23. And yeah, man, we will definitely see you guys at Boxerfest. Um, which, Dave, I want to talk about.
Yes.
So, this is kind of going to be a little bit of a off script podcast because Dave and I really he's on the road and we didn't have a lot of time to put this together, but if you guys didn't catch it, I put out a post today. We have a post up in the Subaru Mechanics group. It's under feature tab or it's right on top when you open it up. And we have a link to buy tickets to Boxerfest. If you guys are coming this year, it helps us out. It makes it so that we can get awarded as, the number one company or community that brought a group of people to the event, things like that, which is cool.
Come on, guys. Let's
Um,
win.
yeah. But like the opportunity that this gives us is amazing. I mean, last year when I saw that they allow groups to basically come for free if you sign up and do everything and you sponsor the event kind of, and it's like it's awesome. I mean, we had a great tent. We had a great group of people that kept coming by to see us. We were constantly pulling people, just telling them about the group. And, we had these sick t-shirts for sale there, which is really great. Dave, I'm gonna have to send you one of these, buddy.
I need one.
Um, and so this
Well,
year,
I'll come get it.
yeah, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. This one has our sponsors on the back from last year.
Nice.
Um, you know, we just had a lot of fun. It was a great time, and even though it was hot, like very hot, it was a really good event, and I'm excited because this year, right? Last year, first time making all the mistakes, didn't really know what we were in for. And we had a giveaway. And what people didn't know is that, the giveaway item that you have to put forth to be part of the event, at the end of it, they have a raffle, and that item goes to whoever puts tickets in for that item. So what we did is we actually had a backpack that had this logo on it, and I put down a backpack But what I didn't tell everybody was that we stuffed that backpack with all of our sponsors' items, big break kits, like t-shirts, stickers, everything. And so we got very few people that actually put tickets in for the item. And at the end of it, one of our sponsors that's on the back of my t-shirt won the item. So he got his own t-shirt back in the backpack. And so I just remember dying because it was Dan from Flat Out Industries still
Okay, yeah.
sponsoring. And Dan and I were standing in the crowd watching this event happen and watching and I didn't know that Dan had put these tickets in for our item. So I'm sitting there and I see our item come up, they walk across the stage with this backpack and they do the raffle and they go, Dan, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, we definitely messed something up here. So
It's not
uh
rigged. It's not rigged.
Dan was happy. He got CTSV brake kit. He got t-shirts. He got one of these. He got his own t-shirt back that was in the bag. He got, all the goodies we put in there. But this year, I wrote it up really good. I wrote up that we have a backpack that is filled with our custom whoa, something is
I
going.
thought you were coming in for emphasis. That was
Sorry guys,
perfectly timed.
I got a new camera and I
That's too much.
oh no, I don't know what to do. Come on. I
This is
go.
the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Dave and I are dying right now because I got a new camera. I can't get the focus right. It just keeps zooming in on my face now.
There you go. You're going out a little bit. There you go. You're out a little bit further now.
It's bugging out. I don't know what is going on. It doesn't I don't know.
When AI goes wrong.
Yeah. We'll be
This
back
is
after these messages.
oh
We're
god.
back.
Okay.
We've
Oh,
we figured
oh.
that nightmare out. But anyways, what I was saying is I'm not gonna use my hands anymore so my camera doesn't attack me. But um, you know what? We got a great item this year. I'm gonna go get it. Give me one sec.
Okay.
All right. So for anybody watching, I'm gonna show this to you. If you guys are at home, I'll explain. I also have the Subaru Rare Parts Facebook group. And in that group, somebody had something for sale that I found really, really cool and interesting. And I thought to myself, this was like 6 months ago. I was like, this is it. This is the item for Boxerfest this year. It's perfect. The price is perfect. Put it right in the bag. We're going to put some other sponsor items in there, t shirts, everything like that, like we did last year. But this time we have a good item. It is a Subaru STI mouse, computer mouse, where the scroll button is in the middle of the hood and you click the hood as the mouse. And so this is the like 2011 STI and this thing is so sick. It's like from Subaru and
I'm
like I
officially
get
buying two for both my employees up front. Both my
so
service advisors are going to have them on Monday when
yeah,
they get in.
these things go for like 30 to $50, which like isn't
Oh,
bad
it's
for
not
that.
bad.
And they made a bunch of different ones too, so it's not just this one. They also have like different models. I think they have the 22B. I think they also have the wagon version of this year. A couple
No
other things.
Outback, I'm sure.
I don't know. I would have to look into it, but probably just the WRX, line. But this is going to be in our backpack this year, and we are going
Oh,
to have a
awesome.
pod. Our backpack this year is going to have the podcast logo on it. And then also we're going to have podcast t-shirts this year, which we're going
Yes.
to be having for sale. It's going to have right here on the right corner of the shirt, it's going to say The Wave by Subaru Mechanics, and then on the back it'll have the logo with all the sponsors on it. I was actually working on that today. And then also, um, we, Dave, I don't know if you're going to be there yet, but let's say Dave is there. We are going to have a full day of live podcasting. So, no matter what, somebody will be at our booth. We will have a camera set up. We have two microphones, two shirt mics. And so basically, um, you know, I'll have a mic on, or Dave, if you're there, like you could have a mic on and whatever, and we'll have people sit down with us. We'll put their mic on, and we're gonna just interview them about their car, their build, like Subaru, whatever they have going on, and then I'm gonna have them send me pictures of their car. We'll put a video together, and we're also gonna do a bunch of footage of the event and put together a Boxerfest video. So a lot of cool things going on with Boxerfest this year. Really, really excited to come in and knock it out of the park this time. And yeah, I think no matter what, like even if Dave's not able to make it, he will be with us in spirit, and we'll make this a fun one. So
Well, and to that note, I think it's befitting that we announce it here, or rather, I announced it here formally. Uh, I'm officially going to be there at Boxerfest. I have yet to figure
really,
out the logistics of it yet. Have a couple details to iron out as far as everything goes on. Of course, we'll talk more about that, Patrick.
yeah,
But I have officially put it in the calendar. I'm gonna make it out. I'm gonna come to Boxerfest. I couldn't be more excited. Definitely looking forward to it. Getting to see everybody. If you are there, you're coming out, and you listen to the podcast. Make sure to stop by the booth, say hi, hang out. Like you said, Pat. Like, let's talk Subarus, man. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I'm so excited to go. Is I want to get to hang out with my other fellow enthusiasts. I mean, I think Subaru community, it's safe to say, I mean, it's an understatement, or but is really, really tight knit, and we're all as diverse as can be, with kind of our builds and as unique individual as peoples, but uh, every one of us, comes together and has a shared love for these cars, and I think it's something that's really, really special. And when you see Subaru enthusiasts come together, whether it be over a lifted or a lowered or a classic, fully restored, by I can't remember the name of that show where they grade you on if your bolts are the right bolts. So they're like, oh, you changed that bolt, that's not the right hardware, and they'll actually deduct points off of your scoring. It's like, Jesus Christ, but I get it. There's a level of factory originality that I think in preservation that I can respect. Um, So I think it's really exciting to get to go see all these kind of unique uh, personalities, if you will, both in the people, but ultimately in the cars most of all, because that's where it really shines, is when you see people's personalities come through with not just Subarus, but with their vehicles in general. I think that's what makes auto enthusiasts bonded and united together, in that we're all just, we don't just see it as a mode of transportation. We see it as so much more, and it's a unique expressionism of our own unique personality, and it's really, really cool. And the more the many years that I've been in the car culture, it never ceases to amaze me, to see people's ingenuity. I think that's what really, really piques my interest nowadays, is just seeing things that are unique, and um, not to say, hey, build the car that you want, but there's a lot of cars that are certainly the same. And if you're building your car, I always say, if you're building your car for someone else, then maybe that's not your car, you know?
yeah, yeah. You know what? I am very excited that you announced this, because I was really hoping you were going to make it, and I think that this is going to make this event amazing. Um,
It's going to
you
be so
know,
much fun.
I mean, we will almost have every single sponsor at the event. That's crazy.
Wow,
I
that's
mean,
impressive.
um, Induction Auto Works is going to be there. They were there last year. Company
Okay.
23 is going to be there with Kartboy. Um, CS Tuned Chicago is going to be there. Flat Out Industries, Dan, who won the backpack last year, is going to be there. You're going to be there. Amazing. And then Teeter Auto, I think, was talking about coming out too. So
Oh,
the only
we gotta get
sponsor
Trenton
that
out here.
yeah, the only sponsor we might not see is Tanner from CTSV Brake Swap. Um, but last year he sent us some really cool brake kits that we were able to give out. So, uh, dude, this is awesome. It's gonna be great. I'm super stoked.
And
And
we're gonna have to figure out something to put in that backpack for the giveaway too. I haven't figured that out yet either. That's
all right,
something in the works. But we'll come up with something really really cool to put in there as well.
I'm toying around with the idea too of like they have those companies now where they make those really big chains, almost like you know what I'm talking about?
Ooh.
What was that guy with the big clock
Oh,
back in the
Flava
day?
Flav.
Flava Flav. They have those big, thick chains, and you can put a logo there. So I was going to put the podcast on the chain, and then we take
Hmm,
pictures of people.
that's
So,
cool.
or like put the chain on them and like take some pictures. Like I thought that'd be fun.
Yeah, I like it.
So you know, I think we're just gonna make the most of it. It's gonna be a fun day. We're just gonna try to have fun with it. And I think we're gonna get a lot of good content and stuff that comes out of this. And you guys are gonna be happy because it's not just gonna be podcast stuff. We're gonna try to put together some footage of what we did at Boxerfest and how everything went. And it's gonna be really fun. So I'm really excited for that. Um,
Definitely.
and yeah, you guys should definitely come out, stop by, come see us. We're normally in the strip of community groups, which is right across from the outdoor section. Um, and we're looking forward to it again this year. So it's gonna be
It's
great.
like 24-hour distance from us from in Colorado. So if anyone has any better excuses why they can't come, uh, let us know down in the comments. But we're gonna be there. So one way or another.
Yeah. Um, Something else I wanted to talk about is the podcast hit 2,000 subscribers, which is insane. We have been growing like crazy. Tons of people are on board. It's been the conversations have been great. I just want to get a live count here. We are now currently our YouTube channel is at 2,279 as of this recording, and our last episode got over 2,500 views. So we're
Wow.
looking good. I think
We
that
appreciate everything.
anybody out there, if you are watching these episodes and you haven't subscribed, please do. We are really making these for you guys. We want to be as community friendly as possible, and we're really going to try to get, um, you know, just some great content out at Boxerfest for you guys. Get some stuff out there. And something that happened the other day, somebody commented on one of our episodes. If you guys remember, we had the episode, if you want to go back and watch it, it's Sound of the Police, where we talked about Subaru police vehicles. And somebody reached out to me because I put out the the bat signal, basically saying like, hey, we know that this Greenfield police vehicle exists. Some, you know, Greenfield was given this Subaru, and we wanted, you know, pictures of it if they were out there. And this guy messaged me and he said, I actually found pictures of the Subaru. And he said there's another police force in California that also has their own Subaru police cars. So I'm going to share these just so that we can see this here. And I'll explain it for you guys that are listening. But Fast and Furious actually donated this this Subaru. And it's like a 2012, I believe, STI. But you can see in the pictures here, right? Let me just see if I can zoom in. So this is the car, and what a awesome looking car. Like I'm just blown away.
Imagine getting
Imagine,
pulled over in that.
I was
Like,
just
like what?
gonna say that. Imagine this thing pulls up behind you and you're just like, what is going on? Honestly,
Is that
like
is that considered a
without
hate crime? Subaru on Subaru? I don't know how I feel about.
without the police lights, like this thing would be gnarly. Like even
Oh
the
yeah,
wheels look so clean. Like this thing is sick. Um,
I kind of like their rap though. I won't lie. Getting
yeah, it
from
is
from a
nice.
police standpoint, it's pretty cool. Like I think they embrace the aggressiveness of it. They're like, yeah, we're gonna have that like monster look with like the claws like tearing through it. Like I think that's a
Yeah, man.
really bold choice of graphic. Like props to them, dude.
It's so cool. I love it. And then also, um, I'll show you guys here. There should be some
Shout out to the
pictures.
Greenfield Police. You guys are cool.
Yeah, Greenfield. So Schlossman Subaru City's annual car show. Basically, Schlossman Subaru, I guess, helped bring this to light. And let me see if I can find it here because he also sent me pictures of. You know what? Let me do this. I have the pictures. I'm just not doing this right. Uh, do, do, do. There we go. So this is the Subaru from Greenfield that we just saw. And then this is the Itasca
Oh,
Police Force. So Itasca in California also has a no, not a Subaru police car. They have a fleet of Subaru police cars, which is so crazy to me. But where did we go here? There we go. So like
wow.
this one is in Itasca, a newer one. This one, hard to see, but they have another like, 2012 STI model, black and red. They have this one.
Wow. See, I really like these police agencies really embracing the the color, aspect of it. They're not just doing some bland police car. I mean, I saw at the bottom of that first article it said how, they brought it to a community event and everyone that saw it just was like, lit up with joy. It was like it was a
Yeah.
friendly presence. Like you see this pull up and it's just cool as hell, man. I don't know how any other way to put it. It's just the livery on
What?
these things is fantastic.
I feel like that's like what we were talking about in the original episode where the Foresters in Italy were light blue and white and like it just
Yeah,
gave a friendly service kind of vibe. Like, when I see a black Explorer or a black Charger pull up behind me, it's like I just feel like I'm getting a ticket, right? It doesn't matter if I'm
yeah.
just breathing wrong. It just feels like today is my day, I guess. It's like,
No, you're right.
and then
See, that's
this
more
thing,
classic,
yeah,
but
this
that's more
thing is
classic
very cool.
police kind of style.
Yeah,
I like the wheels though.
yeah, yeah. So I just wanted to bring that up because this was something that you guys sent me, and I thought that it was very cool that we asked for a picture of this car, and you guys found it, and you brought it to light. So I thought that was really cool.
That's
Um,
awesome.
it's great that you guys are giving back and helping us because a lot of times, like, we don't know everything. And when I did the original research on this, I guess I totally missed the pictures of this car. So, but I'm glad that we finally get to see this stuff and bring it
Yeah.
back up. So it's great.
And you
And
mentioned earlier that we do this for uh, not for ourselves, but we do this for our viewers and our listeners. And in part to that is we want to do this with you
yeah,
and include you in this experience in this journey of uh, growing this thing, and creating this community, or rather growing not just the Subaru mechanics group in general, but um, further getting a Subaru inclusive community where ask us questions. You know, the more technical, the better. We'll find answers. You know, one of my favorite automotive teachers I ever had. When I remember the first day, you know, in class, he said, "I'm not going to profess to know that I know everything, and I don't have every answer. But if you ask me a question and I don't have the answer, it's my job to figure it out, and I'll get you the answer."
Yeah.
And that really resonated with me. I think that's what we're here to do, is facilitate whatever you guys want from us in a way, and to help you learn more about Subarus, as well as also fix your own cars, whatever it may be. So if anyone's got a weird one that we can dive into, we're happy to get as technical as we can.
Yeah. Um, I also just want to thank all of our guests that have come on. I mean, we've just been so blessed with so many cool episodes. We've been all the way from Calgary to Toronto to Australia, or I'm sorry, not Australia yet, South Africa. And then we are planning an episode for a Subaru rally company out of Australia. So, there's just so many things to come, and I'm just like loving every second of this. And, you know, last week I wanted to ask you what you thought of the 3D engine. I mean, just mind blowing. I mean, when
Incredible.
we were talking to Neeraj, who was our guest last week, and he was talking about how he couldn't get a 3D printer big enough, so he had to build his own. And I'm like,
Who does that?
this is this is the kind of stuff that I'm like, you're how old? 24 years old, I think he said. And he's building his own 3D printer, and he's attempting to be the first person to ever 3D print an EJ engine, like, and run it in a car. He built his own car. Like, I'm just just amazed. What a great episode. What a great guy. I really loved every second of it. And I was like so excited to tell people about it after the fact. Like, I was telling my in-laws, and I was telling my parents and stuff, just about like what a cool project it is, and how amazing it is that this is even something that's happening like right now. He's working on it, and I can't wait to get him back on and interview him after he gets it in a car and we see what goes on. So it's just gonna be great. I'm really excited.
Oh yeah, the guests that we've had have all been fantastic, and it's to that point I made earlier about there's just so much diversity, you know, in this particular unique segment rather than Subarus of, you know, car culture in general. And I think it encompasses, for us being a Subaru podcast, to explore those many facets uh, of our diverse, like I said, community, because everyone, like I said, is has a dream and a vision, and uh, really getting to understand what drives people to that point is, you know, oftentimes help other people effectively maybe formulate, you know, where they want to go, you know, and what they what their directive is with their build, for example, you know,
Yeah.
learning from other people and what does and doesn't work, you know, consistently. We're always learning from other people as well, you know, and looking for that, you know, everyone's looking for the next new thing. Um, but we are quick to never jump onto a bandwagon, so to speak, as someone we were recently highlighting to someone in the group recently about the cylinder 4 cooling mod, and how that's kind of ironically kind of fallen off as time is told, so to speak. And you really don't see that like anymore, even really talks about it. Like, no one's really selling them, no one's really promoting them. It kind of just came, and it seemed like the hottest new kid on the block for a minute there, and then
Yeah.
it just kind of faded away, interestingly enough. And so that just kind of goes to show you, it's like, don't always believe everything you read. And just because everyone's jumping off the cliff doesn't mean you should necessarily, without figuring out why. I mean, if the cliff is on fire, then maybe jumping off the cliff into the water is actually a smart idea. So
Yeah.
but you want to figure out and make sure, like I said, your reasoning is sound for what you're doing. And
Yeah.
so that's where we always kind of go back to the get as much information as possible before you make a decision.
Yeah. Um, yeah, man. I mean, I really wanted to kind of talk about something as well towards the end here. Um, I wanted to bring up if you happen to see Subaru's WRX sales numbers are down from last year. I don't know if you
I
saw that
saw
or
that.
not.
Hmm.
So it kind of sparked a conversation between me and a friend who is into Subarus. And we started talking about why these numbers are down and why this is happening. And when Subaru, like everybody wants Subaru to bring back these new STI models or try to build some more cool rally stuff, like why is it that the numbers are down? And why is it that this is happening? And, I put together kind of like an idea of the conversation that we had. I put together kind of
Hmm.
my side of it, and we were kind of talking about it. And um something that was said was that really it's the people who buy these cars that are helping the decline of the WRX, which kind of like stopped me for a second, because I was like, how is that possible? How is it that the fans of this brand could possibly be not buying the most iconic car from the brand? Like, it's just kind of crazy. And then I was thinking about it, and I was like, well, the sales numbers are down. They did get rid of the STI model. Now they're talking about that WRX Premium is now the base model. So there isn't even a base model. They raised the price of the car. Like, there's so many factors going into this right now. And I feel like, honestly, it's not the time to buy a WRX. And that's probably part of what's going on.
Hmm.
The $38,000 for a base model, you know, that's a lot of money. I mean, what is it? 5 years ago, right? I bought a brand new Forerunner peak COVID for $40,000.
Hmm.
Now, you're telling me that I got to buy a base model WRX for the same money as a SR5 Forerunner? You know what I mean? Like, it's, I get like 5 years has gone by, but still, like, it's not making sense to me that like WRX is supposed to be the budget sports car. And I think that it's a little bit odd that the sales are declining, but I feel like I can kind of see what's going on. Like, the puzzle pieces are coming together. So I don't know if you had any insight on that or what you think's
Sure.
going on with this. So
Well, I think on a whole, uh, and I'll divulge, but the market has shifted and changed so much. We are in a completely different landscape in the automotive space than we were 10 years ago, which is just unprecedented. How much has changed. Um, and maybe a little more beyond 10 years right now. Maybe I'm lumping time together as I get older together too much, but it wasn't that long ago that we didn't have Teslas on the road, for an example. And I use one metric is, from a performance standpoint, a soccer mom with her Tesla Model Y with her kids in the back with two kid seats playing Candy Crush on their iPads can do a quarter mile in under 10 seconds now. And when they figured that out, of course, they quickly banned them. They're like, you need a roll cage to do that. Yeah,
yeah,
you do. But then people also pleaded. They're like, wait, I need a roll cage in this? Why? It's a DOT approved street legal car that I just drove here in.
yeah,
It doesn't have, you know, some 2,000 horsepower Hellcat engine that took me, 2 years to build and $20,000. Or, I just bought this off a dealer lot and drove it over here, brand new, 2 miles
yeah,
on it, and I beat guys that have been trying to get this fast their entire or to get their cars to go this fast. Now that's not really the same thing. They're trying to get their cars to do that, but
yeah,
the industry has shifted and cars have gotten quieter, they've gotten nicer, they've gotten more refined, and I think the expectation has grown to where even on a base level car, I mean, the cheapest little car you can buy right now is about $20,000 almost, you know. I think like a Chevy
Yeah.
Spark is like 16. So that's part
Yeah.
of it. You have to figure, okay, if Chevy Spark is 20,000, okay,
Yeah.
well, how do you compete a WRX against that if it's, you know, you can get a WRX for 25? Well, who would buy a Chevy Spark? Everyone would be driving WRXs then, but then now the WRX is not going to tickle the fancy the same way. It's not going to be as fast. It's not going to be as performance oriented to where, um, I mean, I would say there's another thing I've kind of learned is, there's two reasons we lose a customer, so to speak, unfortunately, is, and there's the third unfortunate, let's say we do something unfortunately wrong or something, but heaven forbid. Good reasons we would lose a customer effectively. Not that there's a good reason to lose a customer, but is hey, I'm sorry, this WRX isn't fitting my lifestyle anymore. I just got three kids, blah blah blah. I got to get an Ascent or something, a minivan, whatever. You know what I mean? Okay,
Yeah.
life changes. Be a pickup truck for work. Okay, there's certain offerings that Subaru does not accommodate for them, which might drive you away from driving a Subaru. The other reason would be from a performance oriented standpoint. Usually, if it's not a utility standpoint, it usually derives from a performance standpoint more oftentimes than not. And it's all right, I've got my 800 horsepower Subaru. I've spent lots and lots of money on it. And when I look back on it, comparatively, I could have just bought a BMW and it would have been
Yeah.
just as fast. And it would have cost me less money and less time. And I could have had a factory warranty on it for the first, X amount of miles. And that's where people were weighing things. I think something I heard years back, and again, I not to get like plagiarized or copyright infringement. Like I heard on another, I think it was a podcast of some sort, but they were talking specifically about car markets in general, and or rather the topic was why Subaru should not turbocharge the BRZ or will never turbocharge the BRZ. I think it was something along those lines. It was one of those kind of clickbaity topics, but I was like, I'll listen. And I listened to it, and the take was actually really interesting because I by the end of it, I was inclined to agree. And it was that if you take the BRZ, for example, and I know we're talking about the WRX, but this segues back in. If you take the BRZ and it's positioned below the WRX, it's kind of their entry level. College kid buys it, high school kid buys it, and it's their first, second car. It's really, really great car, not diminishing from it, but it's not the fastest. It's generally derived not to let you get into too much trouble, as they put it.
Hmm.
If you look at it from a price standpoint, what are they charging for? Would you say the the 26 or whatever for a WRX or right or sorry, what did you say it was?
What do you mean?
How much
Oh, the sales that are down.
or how much is like the WRX right now? How much do they cost?
So right now, to get a base, which is the WRX Premium, it's $38,000.
30. So okay, so almost 40. Yeah. So let's say if it's 38, what are they selling the BRZs for? I don't know, in the 30s. You know what I mean, or right about there. Probably sub that, like 28. I don't know.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden you put a turbocharger up on there. Okay, now all of a sudden it becomes within a $2,000 to $5,000 differential, or it can't be anywhere near that close from a price standpoint. I guess the
Yeah.
point is also like how factually can you make a Porsche Boxer go faster than a 911? Absolutely. Will Porsche ever sell you a Boxer that will is faster than a 911? Absolutely not. They're prohibited from doing so. And when I say prohibited, the reason is it would devalue their brand. They have their tiers. If all of a sudden one tier becomes better, faster, and cheaper than other one, it erases it.
Yeah.
Simple economics. And so you have to
Hmm.
take that into a play from a manufacturer standpoint. Subaru has a lineup. They have one on the top end, one on the bottom end. They want to try to sell to as many people in that spectrum and get as many different price point of customers as they possibly can. And that's going to be a challenge. And I guess my last point is that the WRX has always been more of a niche thing. Um, I mean, it's kind of like, for example, one of my Outbacks is a Outback XT, which at the time in 2005 was a top tier model in a sense. Like it cost almost as much as an STI.
Yeah.
But why would you buy that over an STI? Because you didn't want the STI. You needed to get groceries and but well then why would you buy the XT? Because the XT was the premium top tier model, had the panoramic sunroof, had all the bells and whistles, heated mirrors, everything. And so that was why they had people buy them. And so that was, like I said, them trying to get different people into the right car for them. And I think right now the market just isn't there for just sports cars in general. It's tough. I mean, more and more people are, I saw a statistic when they asked kids, nowadays that are, right at that ripe age of driving and or, you know, becoming a driver or could become or just became a driver, what kind of car they want, what they wanted. And most of them said they have no interest in driving.
Yeah.
They would just rather have
Well,
a car that drives them somewhere or take Uber.
so I agree with the fact that sales are down and that some of that has to do with, what they're offering and things like that. I think where I disagree a little bit is I think that honestly, my opinion is the police has to do with it. I think that there are cameras everywhere now. Like, I can't even drive down Route 80 by my house now without passing all of these white poles that they put up with cameras on them. They have these blue lights on the bottom. It's like every couple miles they have cameras down the whole highway. And so now I'm like a little bit of like, I'm just scared to drive over the speed limit. And I think that it almost defeats, you know, I
Yeah,
don't
I
want
get
to
you.
say this, but it defeats the purpose of buying a fast car because I'm not getting on Route 80 and doing 55 and a 60. You know what I mean?
You
Like,
almost scared put it in cruise. You always put it in cruise control because you're just too scared to, like you said, go over the speed limit. And so at that point, I mean, you might as well be just driving a Camry, which is a nice
well,
car, but
and right, the whole point is, right, people want to get their fix of modifying a car. They want to make it theirs, they want to get that feel. And when you make a car faster, right, not only are you getting that, but you're also getting the props of having a sick car. It's loud, you get to rip by, you get to do all the fun stuff. But now, right, you're opening yourself up to potentially getting tickets and,
mhm,
points on your license and now you're a target.
totally.
Whereas what I think is happening is that the police are kind of enforcing a lot of this. Now people are shifting into the off-road area way more. And
I do
I
see that.
think that the numbers show it because last year Subaru sold almost 20,000 WRXs. That was like total. They sold 100 and like 18,000 Crosstreks. So right
And
there it
guess what
goes to
they have
show.
doubled down on? Crosstrek Wilderness, Outback Wilderness, Forester Wilderness editions.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
what is that showing you? They're doubling down, and you're right, on the off-roading thing. And oh yeah, make the Subaru capable, can go anywhere to the mountains, adventure, all that. They're kind of selling that lifestyle. You're right, a lot harder than they're selling. Yeah, that famous old commercial, if anyone's ever seen it, with the Subaru owner with the pigeon, uh, and he got so tired of it, he eventually went and bought a STI. Then he pulled to the same parking spot and waited for the pigeon to land on his hood to do the same thing. And he revved it up, and you just hear a big suck, it gets sucked into the hood scoop, even though that's not how hood scoops work, but it was just a marketing video. And then all of a sudden, feathers come out the tailpipe, and he gets out and locks the car and leaves. It was a great marketing mail campaign. It kind of spoke to that more aggressive kind of nature that I feel like Subaru's gotten away from in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Subaru found that in Rally, right? When Rally was big and that was their prime for the WRX to come out and really hit that market, but now the market has changed. Like now people are buying electric cars. Now people are going off-roading on family trips. They're not speeding down the back roads like because there's a high chance that you're going to get caught. There's cameras everywhere. you
And there
know,
goes your
and I
license.
and not just that, but the price for a base model or even a sport, just Impreza is like $24,000. So why are you going to pay $14,000 more to have a fast version of the same car when you know what you're lining yourself up for? You know what I mean? Like if you want to get the feeling of driving an Impreza, you can get that. You know, they have the Sport and the RS. But like
Hmm.
The RS is 30 grand,
Well, here's
which
another
is,
valid
you
point.
know,
You know why the Honda Civics back in the day became so popular? I mean, the number one reason: cost, cheap. They were cheap. They were everywhere. They were cheap. You could go buy one used for $2,000, and when you crashed it, you go buy another one. And that's why. And everyone says, well, they had a huge aftermarket support market. Yeah, but that also grew as a result of people wanting to modify them. That's why you get more and more body kits available than just two. Is you
yeah.
get 200 because all of a sudden in a 5-year gap, every 16-year-old kid is driving around in a Honda Civic, and it's one of two generations. So as an eBay Chinese body kit, that cost $200 back in the 90s, but then you found out was $500 to ship to your door. Uh, that's why there were 200 options for that same body kit with different flares and all kinds of stuff, because they were ubiquitous, they were everywhere, and they were cheap. And the problem with a market where, and I always say it like, on one level, the struggle becomes, if you're going to build, let's call it an STI killer, build a WRX that just looks like a stock WRX, but it'll smoke any STI, even modified. Sure, you can do that. You're going to spend more money than if you just bought the STI, though.
You know
More
what's
times than not, kind
crazy?
of thing, too.
You brought up a good point that I feel like they were cheap, right? These cars were cheap. You look at the Dodge Neons, you look at the Chevy Cavaliers, you look at all of these cheap cars that people modified because they just wanted a this is how I sold my parents on my first car, on the Tiburon that I had. I told them that I wanted something that looked cool but wasn't fast because I didn't want to get in trouble. I can tell you this works. So, you know, I ended up getting this car. It was a V6, I think it made like 189 or 2 something, whatever it made. Um, you know, I sold them on it and then I was able to modify and I ended up having a supercharged Tiburon on by the end of it. But,
Yeah.
I yeah.
And
But
they didn't know what that meant, but it's okay.
yeah, but this opens up an interesting topic, which is if Subaru made an STI bare bones, right? I'm
We're not even an
talking,
STI, a WRX bare bones, because that's the other argument is, if you're going to take a WRX, and what do most people do when they buy a WRX? They rip everything out, half the things that are stock, and replace them. If you could, it's almost like start with the cheapest, most stripped down, you're right, like version of something in its core, and then let people build it up. I mean, I think Honda kind of did that very fairly moderately well for a number of years when they came out with like kind of a couple of the newer generations of Civic, kind of past the 90s, where it was like, all right, we're gonna obviously try to make these a little bit nicer, because we do remember, guys, again, guys, the enthusiasts, you guys all buy these secondhand because you guys can't afford to buy these new. We have to still sell these to somebody first. So we have
yeah,
to sell this to somebody that doesn't want to rip everything apart and modify it, and just wants to drive it like a normal car, grandma, for 10 years, and then you will buy it. That's
but
when it's your turn.
this is what I'm saying, right? People are complaining about the cost. So imagine this. Imagine 2026, right? Subaru says, screw it. We're gonna do a base model that is lower than base model. It is
Mhm.
going to be a WRX. It is going to have an interior. It'll have AC. It's not going to have any crazy head unit. It's not going to have any
Yes.
fancy steering wheel.
Save a
You
lot
know,
of money on that.
it's
You
you
save
know
a lot of
it
money.
it's not going to have premium speakers.
Nope.
It's not going to have a spare tire. Well, maybe, but you
Yeah,
know
it
what I
has to
mean.
have a
Like
spare tire.
like
Yeah.
like it.
But no,
They're
just right
just
there's a lot of money. A lot of money. If you don't have a giant iPad touchscreen tablet that Now you can never replace. It's proprietary. It's built into the HVAC system. Everything's all now electronic. Now you need more modules to control all that? No, no, no. Give us a simple operated physical cable driven lever and a actuator or a flapper door, not a no more electronic actuators. That would save so much money. Don't put a Harman Kardon branded system in there. Even though Harman Kardon wants to give you a deal to put their system in your car, don't, and put your cheap stock base system in there. Go buy it from Alibaba or Timu, as they
Yeah.
say now, and slap it in there because we're gonna rip it out and we're gonna put some Bose, or the guy who likes his Sony Explode is going to always put Sony Explode in every car he's ever owned. Doesn't matter if you put Bose in there, he wants Sony, and so the JBL guys will put JBL. Yeah, just let people modify it to themselves. Yeah, you're right. I think
Not
that
even that, like go back to just a very basic looking BBS wheel as the wheels, you know? Like at least
screw
you're
it. Sell me
getting
Steelies. Honestly, I don't give a shit
yeah.
about.
I was gonna say that, but I didn't want to go too extreme in the wrong
But that's
direction.
that's
But
the other argument is put Steelies on there with hubcaps just to sell it, because the thing is wheels are subjective enough to a point too. That's a highly subjective point. It's one of the number one things I think people modify with their cars. Even people who don't make more horsepower or want to go racing or put lifted tires on there or low profile, sometimes they just like a nicer wheel on their car
you know
aesthetically.
what? You know what, Dave? You're onto something because not just that, what is the one thing that every Subaru guy wants, especially if you live in the Northeast?
Wheels.
Not just wheels. They want winter wheels. They want
Oh,
steelies that they can put snow tires on.
give them a
So,
set of
right?
Steelies already.
Yeah, I feel like our brainchild's coming together right now. You you get a cheap version. I did it again.
It's okay.
This thing is ridiculous. How do I?
Dude, this is the funniest thing I've ever.
There you
Oh,
go.
you got it. You
Okay.
got it. You got it.
Okay. I figured it out.
Keep your hands down. Put your hands behind your
Yeah,
back.
yeah. um, so right, like hear me out. Cheap
Yeah,
WRX, right? We go back to the 4-pot front Brembos, the 2-pot rear Brembos, right? So we're not paying crazy dollars for 6-pot front Brembos that nobody can afford anyway. If you want to
that's
upgrade
fair.
to them, right? The bracket will be there,
But you don't
don't
need
worry
them
about
unless
it.
you're really tracking the car, in my opinion.
Yeah, but make it so you could buy those calipers and attach them and the bolts line up, So like that option is available. You could still
You're right.
do it.
Here's another marketing directive for Subaru. All of a sudden now they have a bunch of options, factory options that they can sell you as upgrades. How about we offer our own top mount strut brace? Everybody wants one. And how much cooler would it be if it was officially branded and licensed with Subaru and it was in cherry blossom pink? For
Yeah.
for fuck's sake, it's not. I don't think it's that. I think you're right. We are revolutionizing Subaru's marketing, and I don't know why no one's brought this up. Maybe they should give us a call, Pat, and have
You
us
know,
in
I had an
uh,
I
for a Zoom
I
meeting.
had I had an idea way back, when I was naive and young, was I was like, why don't they make a car, right, where everything is a quick connect? The fenders pop off, the hood pops off, the bumper pops off. Everything is detachable quickly so that you could work on it. And I guess there was a car that had been made like that it was
Hmm.
one of the most stolen cars in America because people just were taking them apart easily. But
Well, that
but
reminds
get
me, there are cars. Sorry, quick segue. That Porsches. I think there's a Porsche where the headlights just come out without any tools, and people are just stealing them, which is kind of a funny design flaw. You don't even have to open the hood. You can just kind of push on it and pull the whole headlight out. It's like,
yeah.
okay,
But
bad
this
design.
goes back to that same concept is that um if you're gonna make something moddable, right? Make it easily moddable. Like design the WRX in a way that you're selling something bare bones that people are going to be working on. So you don't have to have all the crazy wiring and all the crazy suspension and everything in the way. You could just make it very basic so that the upgrades are easy to attach, right? And so this is where this all comes full circle. I'm seeing the numbers in the
Yeah.
sky right now.
Oh
So
yeah. I
so
hear you.
they make this model, right? you're now pushing a ton of business not only to your aftermarket parts department, but you're also pushing it to companies like Company23, companies like Kartboy, companies like all of our other sponsors, you
Get
know,
them involved.
in and now, right, the shops are like your shop are now going to be installing all of these aftermarket parts because now people are buying a car that needs a bunch of upgrades if they want to go that route, right? So now you're the installer, so now you're getting that, and then right, you show up to Boxerfest and it's not all the same thing. You're not seeing the same Impreza modified with the same wheels, the same cob intake, the same cob intercooler, whatever. You're showing up and you're seeing all of these cars that were like basically a shell that
Yeah, that's
people
what we're saying.
are like doing a ton of different things to and making it very different. Like right now, Subarus, you can make it your own, but I guarantee if you go to Boxerfest, you're gonna see another car that looks identical to yours,
And is
unless
using
you
the
got
same, a lot of the same parts because we're all
unless you
using the
got a
same parts.
unless you have a crazy build. Don't I'm not trying to go
Everything's
down that
custom
road.
fab. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's the whole thing, right? Is it's all about customizing and being different and standing out and wanting to have your own car that feels like your own, and like this could open up that whole genre, right? You could just open up the floodgates to the aftermarket parts, and open up the floodgate to just a whole plethora of different builds and just the way that things come together. So um I honestly think that that is a great solution to the decline that they're having. The one thing they always teach you in sales is, what is the pain problem? What is the problem? What is everybody complaining the most about? Why are we not addressing that problem, right? And look at tariffs, right? I feel like every business that comes across an issue where they have to find another solution, this is kind of what happens. They find some crazy new idea that, like, hey, why are we even trying to sell people a $40,000 Impreza? That's not what they want. They want a fast, fun weekend car. They're not driving this to work every day, and if they are, they can buy the premium seats, they can upgrade the
Yeah.
head unit, they can upgrade the speakers. But
Speaking of
the
seats, they should
majority,
give us universal seat brackets to where we can just literally buy a new seat and it just universal. Get a
love
Sparko,
that.
get a Recaro, get whatever you want. Get a Cobra. Just, yep, they'll all fit.
Dude,
How nice would that be?
imagine factory quick connect steering wheels. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Dude.
I don't know if that's. I mean, is it? I don't know. Actually, they probably are. NRG is probably DOT. I would think they have to be.
Well, NRG wheels usually don't have airbags. So,
Oh, good point. Yes, actually, never mind that. Probably not.
but
Uh, good
but
point.
if if Subaru was able to make a way to make the WX wheel and the STI wheel just, pop off and swap, but
What would be cool
again,
is what if
man,
you had a quick swappable one that had the airbag, all the legal compliances, but when you wanted to go to the track, you could hot swap it off and put on whatever race wheel you wanted. Oh,
the
there you
only
go.
problem I see with that is that I get the feeling that if you left your car unlocked, your steering wheel would be gone when you come back. So,
Well, yeah, I would just do that if you ever left your car unlocked anyway, and you had. That's just the thing with any one of my friends who have quick release steering wheels. And if I see your car, I'm taking your wheel.
or if you're like Tyler
Especially my friends with
from
Miatas.
yeah, or if you're Tyler from Calgary, they're just in there ripping your dash apart. So,
My God, that was a crazy story.
yeah,
I'll never look at a zip tie and not think about him ever again.
yeah,
I don't know why. Zip ties, I think of Tyler now.
yeah. Well, I really am looking forward to hear what you guys think about this. Why the sales are declining? What's the main problem? What is going on with this? I really don't. foresee the fix. I think that prices are going to continually go up, and Subaru has already dedicated themselves to this price point that they're at. And I feel like it's hard to walk yourself back, right? Because you have a lot of people invested in this. You have your stockholders, you have the company heads, you have everybody that is relying on the decision that you've made to raise the price to this number. And now, the second that you go back on it, now people lose confidence in the brand or the company or what
Hmm.
decisions they're making. So I think that the way that they could get around it is that they don't have to lower the price of their premium item. They have to make a new item that is a lower price, that is everything that everyone wants, which is a bare bones WRX with all the parts and pieces that we want, and none of the parts and pieces that we don't want, because we will add them if we want them, you
Or just
know?
cheap ones, a good better way to put it. Really cheap ones, because they have to sell us a car. We get that. I would like
Yeah.
to. I would like to not buy just a shell. I mean, I guess you could just do that too, but if you really wanted to.
I
But
mean,
I'd
yeah.
like to
I mean,
drive it off the lot.
they should sell, right, the Wilderness Outback with everything on it, right? You got roof racks, you got lights, you got a ladder, whatever you want, right? But then they should sell an Outback that has none of it, that has literally
Manual
nothing.
everything.
Because what if that person just wants to do that all themselves? They don't want to pay for you to attach all this stuff. Maybe they want to paint the ladder a different color. Well, now it's attached to the car. Now they got to unbolt it and deal with, warranty issues. Like, let them buy it. Let them get the part warranty on their own. Let them attach these parts the way that they want to put them on. Maybe Subaru offers multiple mounting places for different off-road lights. Maybe you like them above the car, maybe you like them on the sides over the mirror, maybe you want them in the grill. Maybe they just offer a bunch of different ways to mount lights and you pick it, you know?
And make it as universal as possible to where, like I said, if you could have like the seat example, if you could make a universal seat pan to where, okay, yeah, we sold you this base car. Let's heaven forbid you just want the base car, you'd never want to modify it, whatever. You're just, little old lady and your dog chewed up the passenger seat and you just had to replace it. They're like, let's say a normal seat right now with, all the power and everything is $1,000, let's just say.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we'll sell you that seat for like $300. What? Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's perfect. That's a cheap seat. Now I
Yeah.
can don't feel bad about throwing that new seat, so to speak, or newer seat away when I want to put in my Recaro. Oh, but you know what? You don't like Recaro. I know, Patrick. You're more of a Sparko man, so we'll get you a Sparko in yours. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you can do that. You can
Yeah.
literally put a Sparko in the passenger seat. Like if we shared, if we were both buddies and you always had the passenger seat of my car, I'll put a Sparko over there for you, and I'll be in the Recaro. Like yeah, we can. You literally unbolt them, have them quick swappable. If you want to drive, we can
Yeah.
just swap seats.
I I what sucks is that I just feel like they're misunderstanding the point.
Hmm.
Like that is what
I
people like.
agree.
And in a sense, I could see why maybe Subaru would think that they're devaluing their own brand. Maybe they feel like they're getting away from the bug eyes that felt like cheap plastic dashes, and the seats were only nice in like the STI models, but they were cloth and the rest, and you know what I mean? Like I feel like they maybe don't want to go back down the road of feeling like a cheap sports car, but they're forgetting that that's where they made their place in the market to begin with. That's how they got where
Mm,
they're at. And they are never
yeah,
going to be up. If they want to be Porsche, right? Like we talked about, make
yeah,
another luxury brand. Make your own Infinity. Make
yeah. It's a
make a
good
different,
point.
why are you trying to keep everything in one house? Because it seems like they're almost outgrowing
That's a
their
very good point.
their
Yeah,
market.
you're right. I think I would agree with that 100%. It's hard to sell. Let's say you sell even 20 cars, which is a lot of cars. I don't think any company sells 20 different models. Let's just say you sold 20 different models, individual models, and you range from cheapest car, 30,000 or $20,000, very affordable, like Chevy Spark. Most expensive, $100,000 car. I don't think that company would survive. Let me tell you that.
Yeah.
That's just simple. Like, and I don't. I think, and that's. to your point, you're right. Is not saying that Subaru's extreme is that, but they're in that same kind of space where they've already kind of they've broadened themselves too much from a portfolio standpoint, and hence why Toyota has Lexus, Nissan
Yeah.
has Infiniti, Honda has Acura. They get to that certain point with Honda from a price tag, and they go, "This is not a Honda anymore. This we cannot sell this to Honda customers. This is now an Acura product. You want to put Napa grain leather in there? You want to put your Harman Kardon in there? Fine, because people will pay for that, and they're different customers. And I think to that point, I think to back it up, another point I was thinking about was, yeah, they've doubled down on the wildernesses, like or tripled down. I said
Yeah.
the that market is very unique, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but I think that traditionally the hot rodding market derives from DIYers, from guys that are wanting to get their hands dirty and put their own parts on and get under the hood. More of the wilderness category, I think, of buyers that are buying these newer wildernesses, and I'm not trying to typecast anybody, are trying to buy a turnkey. That's what Subaru is selling them. Buy this. It already has a lift kit on it. It already has skid plates. They just put metal plastic. You know the plastic under tray that your car has? They make
Yeah.
those out of thinner aluminum now, out of metal for the newer wildernesses. It's not a skid plate. They call it a skid plate. I could punch it if I wanted to. And so, Seamus, shout out and plug to get a real skid plate like a Rally Tech or a Primitive Racing, yeah, LP Adventure, anyone but those factory skid plates are not skid plates. But
Yeah.
they're selling these as oh, hey, just buy this one size fits all. Oh, you want some mods? Like you said, your little shovel rack and your rack for your roof rack or rooftop tent. We'll do that for you in house. So now we're retaining more money on the service side than we ever were. We're actually modifying cars for people, and they get to feel like they're getting, some unique personality to it, because we can show them the
Yeah.
catalog for that Outback. And guess what? All the little trim, we can sell you 12 different colors to make it, match your personality or whatever. So they're trying to do what you're saying, but they're doing it from they're doing it from an OE level, and they're trying to do it from a different customer, or reaching different customer base that is just, I think, is more hands off, simply put. And not to, for better or for worse, I'm not saying either one's better or right or wrong. I just mean there's a difference of enthusiasts there.
Yeah. I mean, I think that part of the issue is, right, you look at Audi, right?
Hmm.
Audi knows what it is. It knows that they're not selling the cheap luxury cars. They are at minimum selling you an A series, they're selling you something that when you drive it, right, you're going to feel like, man, I'm driving a
I'm doing
really
pretty good for
nice
myself.
luxury car. Yeah.
Yeah,
And when you look at Honda, right? Honda wouldn't put the NSX under its lineup because how are you going to have an NSX and an HRV under the same roof? You know what I
it
mean?
can't work.
Like
Like I said, it can't exist. You can't have $100,000 car and a $30,000 car in the same under the same portfolio. It doesn't work.
like how are you going to walk into a dealership and see the NSX sitting next to an Odyssey? Does that make you feel like you're at a Porsche dealer when you walk in and it's all Porsches and you feel like you're the man and you're getting in a Porsche today? No, it makes you feel like, man, I'm at the dollar store buying, like like a like a sports car. It's like,
I'm buying their scraps. Look at what they could have. Well, look what I could buy if I could afford it. I could buy an NSX, but instead I'm buying this Honda Odyssey because I'm don't have that money or whatever.
yeah, and I think that with Subaru, right? The problem is I feel like they're trying to pretend that they're not going that direction. They still feel like they're the affordable car brand that, and they're trying to make a more luxury product and they're trying to make things nicer, but they're ending up in this weird category of you walk in and it's like you have base Imprezas, but then you also have STIs, but then you also have Outback Wilderness, but then, now they have the Uncharted and like there's
It's
just like
fragmented.
the mix is a little bit of everything, which I feel like can be kind of good because they're one of the only brands that does that. But at the same time, it's gonna hurt your high end brands because they're getting mixed in with everything else.
Hmm.
So I
Totally.
don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, you look at the Mitsubishi Evo, it's been gone for 15 years now, you know?
It's not coming back.
Like that's one of those cars that I think Mitsubishi realized like we're not expanding into a a nicer brand. We're cutting it here. This is the roof for us. So this car no longer fits in our lineup. We're selling a ton of Outlanders. Like this is not part of what we want to keep doing.
Hmm.
And I feel like Subaru continued to carry the torch, but I feel like they're unironically ending up in the same place. It's like,
Yeah, no, unfortunately, I think you're right. Hopefully not. Obviously, hopefully not. I don't fully believe in my heart of hearts. I don't think they're fully at that precipice. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
Of being at where Mitsubishi was or is, or you know what I mean, is going to be like that. But it's you're right. There's there's an ominous music playing, I
Yeah.
guess.
And what it almost feels like to me is that Subaru has had such a strong identity for so long. And it just feels like maybe the identity is waning, right? Like maybe they've stretched so far to such a broad spectrum of people that now they're not in their pocket anymore. They've just blown out, and now they have all of these customers buying their cars and they're trying to please everyone. But like realistically, money wise, it doesn't make sense. You're making a single car for 18,000 people when you have this other car that you can't even keep up with production for because it's over 100,000 a year. So like
Hmm.
so like this is what Ford did. Very clean. Ford made it very clear what they were doing. They said, "Why are we making 15 different cars? This is crazy. We could make 5 cars and still please everybody that we're trying to please." And I feel like they did it. They did it right. They got rid of the Focuses, which were tons of problems for them. They got rid of the Escapes, right? Or the Edges, whatever. They got rid of
Yeah, the Edge. Yeah,
the Fusion. They got rid of
yeah. There
that.
was too many weird car. You're right. There was too many weird fragmentations. Like you walk into a Ford, you're like, what am I buying here?
Yeah, and it got to the point of like you're stocking all these parts, right? You have a bigger manufacturing plant that's doing all this stuff. Like, why? You don't need it. You've already built the brand. You're not trying to pull people from the woodwork. You're just trying
Yep.
to build on what you got. And I feel like Subaru has built such a strong fan base. There's 7,000 people going to Boxerfest. They ran events all over the country this year. So, it's like they could just narrow down to building like a bare bones WRX, the WRX, the STI, right? Like that's one lineup. And then maybe the Outback, the Crosstrek, and like an EV car, and then maybe a new project or whatever they got
Speaking of
going on.
which, I think you're already there though. Did you hear? I heard the Legacy is no more after this year. The Legacy's gone.
Yeah, I mean that's what's happening though. They're starting to realize they got to wean out of this stuff
It's like,
because
wait, why
they
did we
got
have an Impreza? Why do we have a Legacy? Like, they're almost the same freaking car. I mean, I
yeah, and
guess
they
it's kind
just
of like Corolla and Camry, but yes and no, because with cars all getting bigger now, they're all almost the same size.
yeah. I mean, like I said, they just announced the Uncharted coming out.
Hmm.
Um,
So they had to get rid of something.
Yeah. I mean, you and I talked about what was the other car? They got the Ascent that came out recently.
Yep.
Um, they still have the BRZ. That's another car they're still making.
They now have the EV, the Solterra.
The
That's the most
Solterra.
recent one. Yeah. So yeah, they have to look at it and go, like I said, not like they're at that point, but it's like metaphorically speaking, we cannot have 20 cars. Like this doesn't make any sense.
And not just that, that's not even the extent of it. They have the Lavorg over in Europe, you know?
True. And
Like
now a lot of
they're
that is also kind of rebranding though sometimes, like the Honda uh Fit over here is the Honda Jazz in the UK because we don't like jazz.
Yeah, but like this is another thing. Why don't they make specific models for specific countries, right? If Europe
Yeah.
gets the Lavorg, Give us something cool. Give us something that nobody else has. Make us unique. Make make something that I'm gonna go buy. You know, they
Yeah,
got the Holden GTOs or whatever over in Australia, and then Chevy made the SS here, which was like, kind of a weird direction for them to go in with the place the company was at. But people bought them because they're cool
yeah.
and unique, and people
And the
wanted to
side
build.
note, they're freaking fast.
Yeah. um like people wanted to build their own Holden in the States, and like
Yeah,
that's the whole thing. They tapped into a specific market of people that were like, this is cool, let's do this. Look at the Explorer STs, dude. They have a huge fan base now, huge
yeah.
market. They are selling like hotcakes. You put a tune on it, the thing makes 550 horsepower, grocery getter. You know what I mean? Like
It's ridiculous.
Ford figured out, like, Subaru made the Outback Wilderness where you could throw a tune on it, the thing makes 400 horsepower. Like, now we're talking. People are gonna buy that. So
Well, technically, you can tune them,
yeah,
Cobb.
I'm just saying, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, so I don't know. We'll see how this all shakes out. And I'm really interested to go to Boxerfest and talk to people and see the
So
whole
am I.
scope of what the industry thinks about all this, and people's vendor tents, and see what they're doing. So
And I'd
I
love to
don't know.
talk to more people about this exactly. You know what I mean, as well as other things. But this is a great topic for conversation. I think for us as the enthusiasts, is we are simply put, we're the market, we're the voice. You know what I mean? And I think the louder that we are as a community, the old expression, the company has two ways of going about it. They either listen to us or they don't. But I'd be hard pressed to think if they don't listen to their community that it's going to be better off for them, than not listening, than listening to us, because we're a huge part, not to brag, me personally, but like us in general, we're pretty much the hugest part of why Subaru is what it is to this day. Is they wouldn't be without where they are today without the enthusiast, and the culture that Subaru has built and helped build. And so I think that if they're smart, they're still continuing to listen to us, and they will continue to listen to us. And to that point, the louder we kind of talk about these type of topics, which I don't think often, and I love, that's another reason I love this platform, because I think this gives us a directive to where we can talk about these type of topics, not just us, but we can broaden that topic to where, okay, in the comments, or just in people's day to day, interactions, and when they go out and meet with other super enthusiasts, they talk about this type of thing. The more this becomes a topic, the more it becomes a reality,
Yeah.
that has to be faced.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see how this all shakes out, and we'll keep tabs on this and see if there's any new developments at the end of all this. Um, for right now, sales are down, and that's just kind of where we're at. But again, I just want to do a big shout out to Company 23 and Kartboy on this
Yes.
amazing merger. We hope to see you guys all at Boxerfest, and Dave and I are gonna see you on the next one.